Paris was supposed to be another unforgettable chapter for BTS. However, within just a few moments, everything changed. Fans were left in complete shock after Jungkook suddenly walked out of the hotel with his head lowered, avoiding eye contact as cameras captured every second. His unusually emotional expression immediately sparked countless questions across social media. At nearly the same time, Taehyung's unexpected reaction fueled even more speculation. Was it simply exhaustion after an incredibly demanding schedule, or was something much bigger happening behind the scenes that no one knew about? In this video, we'll break down everything that happened in Paris, what fans noticed, what has actually been confirmed, and why this emotional moment has everyone talking. Stay until the end. You may end up seeing this story from a completely different perspective. The atmosphere outside BTS's hotel in Paris had been unusually tense since early morning. Fans quietly gathered behind the security barriers, hoping to catch even the briefest glimpse of the members as they continued their schedule in the city. Cameras were already rolling, live streams had begun, and every movement around the hotel entrance was instantly shared across social media. Then, something happened that immediately caught everyone's attention. As the hotel doors slowly opened, Jeon Jungkook stepped outside dressed entirely in black. Unlike the energetic image fans had grown accustomed to during his recent appearances, this time he walked with his head lowered. His expression appeared unusually serious, and he avoided making direct eye contact with the crowd gathered outside the hotel. Within seconds, clips of the moment spread across nearly every major social media platform. Millions of fans replayed the footage repeatedly, slowing down every frame in an attempt to understand what they had just witnessed. Some believe Jungkook simply looked exhausted after BTS had traveled through multiple cities within just a few days. Others felt that his emotional appearance reflected nothing more than physical fatigue caused by rehearsals, long flights, and a demanding public schedule. But the conversation didn't stop there. As more videos from different angles surfaced, fans noticed how quietly everything unfolded. There were no dramatic gestures, no interaction with photographers, and no attempt to acknowledge the crowd before Jungkook entered the waiting vehicle. Ironically, it was that silence that became the biggest mystery. Shortly afterward, another familiar face became the center of attention. Kim Taehyung appeared during a separate moment in Paris. He looked calm, yet noticeably deep in thought. His quiet demeanor was quickly linked to Jungkook's earlier appearance, even though there was no official indication that the two moments were connected. Across fan communities, countless theories began circulating almost immediately. Some wondered whether Taehyung had noticed Jungkook's condition before they left the hotel. Others believed the two members were simply conserving their energy between an extremely demanding schedule. Many fans also urged everyone not to jump to conclusions, reminding others that short video clips rarely tell the complete story. Despite those reminders, curiosity only continued to grow. Screenshots comparing both appearances flooded social media timelines. Every facial expression, every glance, and every second of footage was analyzed in extraordinary detail. The discussion was no longer focused solely on Jungkook's emotional expression. It had expanded into a much bigger question about what was really happening behind the scenes in Paris. Even so, one important fact remained unchanged throughout the entire discussion. Neither Jeon Jungkook nor Kim Taehyung publicly confirmed that anything unusual had happened. No official statement mentioned any incident, and no verified source suggested there had been any conflict or unexpected problem. Everything people discussed was based solely on their brief public appearances and personal interpretations of those moments. Still, that did little to slow the growing attention. If anything, the lack of clear answers only fueled even more speculation. As the day went on, additional clips from Paris began appearing online, revealing moments that many viewers had completely overlooked the first time. One particular detail soon became the center of an even bigger discussion, leading fans to question whether Jungkook's emotional appearance actually had an entirely different explanation from what everyone had initially assumed. The mystery surrounding that morning in Paris only deepened as more videos surfaced from different angles. Every new clip seemed to answer one question while creating three more. Fans who had initially assumed it was just another routine departure suddenly began noticing details they had overlooked before. Jungkook never appeared rushed. There were no signs of panic, and security showed no indication that an emergency had taken place. Instead, everything seemed surprisingly calm and well-organized. Yet despite the peaceful atmosphere, something about Jungkook's body language felt noticeably different. Even casual viewers sensed it immediately. His shoulders remained slightly slumped. His eyes rarely lifted from the ground. Quietly, he walked toward the waiting vehicle without acknowledging the cameras that followed his every step. For many longtime fans, that brief moment stood out because it contrasted sharply with the Jungkook they had seen during recent public appearances. Only a few days earlier, he had been smiling warmly, greeting supporters, and appearing relaxed despite an exhausting schedule. That contrast quickly became the center of discussion. Was it simply the weight of constant travel? Had weeks of demanding performances finally begun to catch up with him? Or had everyone misunderstood an ordinary moment that happened to be captured from an unfortunate angle? As those questions spread across social media, another video unexpectedly shifted everyone's attention. Kim Taehyung appeared during a separate appearance in Paris. He looked composed, yet noticeably quieter than usual. There was no dramatic expression, no visible sign of concern, and no official interaction connecting his appearance to Jungkook's earlier moment. Even so, countless viewers immediately placed the two clips side by side, convinced they were somehow connected. Discussion threads multiplied by the minute. Some fans argued that Taehyung simply looked focused as he prepared for another busy schedule. Others insisted that his calm expression suggested nothing unusual had happened at all. The debate quickly became divided. One group believed there had to be an untold story behind Jungkook's appearance. The other reminded everyone that idols regularly endure long flights, sleepless nights, intense rehearsals, interviews, security concerns, and countless responsibilities that remain invisible to the public. Neither side had any actual confirmation. Still, the speculation continued to grow. Hours later, additional footage revealed something many people had overlooked during the first wave of viral clips. Hotel staff remained completely relaxed. Security personnel continued working as usual. There were no signs of confusion, urgency, or disruption anywhere around the hotel entrance. For some viewers, that observation completely changed the narrative. Perhaps the emotional interpretation had been exaggerated. Perhaps Jungkook had simply been concentrating, feeling exhausted, or choosing to protect his privacy during an especially demanding day. Yet the internet rarely settles for simple explanations. Instead, fans continued searching for tiny clues hidden within ordinary moments. Every pause became meaningful. Every glance seemed to carry hidden significance. Every second of silence inspired another theory. Meanwhile, hashtags related to Paris continued climbing across multiple platforms, attracting millions of views from people who had never even watched the original footage. The attention became impossible to ignore. Media accounts began collecting every available clip from different perspectives, comparing timestamps and camera angles in an effort to reconstruct the complete sequence of events. Ironically, the more footage became available, the harder it became to reach a definitive conclusion. Some angles made Jungkook appear visibly emotional. Others showed him looking perfectly calm. Lighting, camera distance, and timing dramatically changed how each moment was perceived. Then another important detail quietly entered the conversation. Several fans pointed out that public appearances capture only a few seconds out of an artist's entire day. Those brief moments rarely reveal what happened before or after the cameras started recording. That reminder quickly resonated with many people. An artist could be recovering from an intense rehearsal. They could be dealing with jet lag after international travel. They could simply be lost in thought. None of those possibilities would necessarily be visible in a 10-second video. Even so, curiosity refused to fade. As evening approached in Paris, more updates involving BTS members began circulating online. Fans eagerly waited for another appearance, hoping the next glimpse would finally provide the missing piece everyone had been searching for. Instead, what happened next only deepened the mystery. A newly surfaced moment involving Kim Taehyung soon became the focus of intense discussion, leaving many fans wondering whether the story everyone believed they understood had actually only just begun. As the discussion continued to spread, something unexpected began happening across fan communities. The conversation gradually shifted away from trying to prove dramatic theories and towards something much more meaningful. People started asking a different question. Instead of wondering whether something had happened between the members, many began asking whether Jungkook was simply carrying the invisible weight that comes with living under constant public attention. For years, millions of cameras have followed nearly every step he takes. Every smile is celebrated. Every quiet moment becomes a headline. Every ordinary expression can suddenly turn into the center of worldwide discussion. That realization encouraged many fans to revisit the original footage once again. This time, they watched it differently. Without dramatic background music. Without captions suggesting hidden meanings. Without comment sections influencing what they were expected to see. The results surprised many viewers. Some admitted that Jungkook no longer appeared heartbroken. He simply looked tired. Others felt he seemed deeply focused, perhaps thinking about the demanding schedule waiting ahead. A few noticed how naturally he continued walking toward the waiting vehicle, showing no indication that anything unexpected had interrupted the day. Yet despite these calmer interpretations, the mystery remained. Why had such a brief moment affected so many people? Perhaps it was because fans know these artists so well that even the smallest change feels significant. After spending years watching performances, interviews, documentaries, live streams, and behind-the-scenes content, longtime supporters often recognize even the subtlest differences in expression almost instantly. Whether those observations are accurate is another question entirely. Still, they come from a place of genuine care. Later that afternoon, more footage from Paris quietly surfaced online. This time, the atmosphere looked noticeably different. The members continued moving through their schedule professionally. Staff members appeared relaxed. Security escorted everyone according to plan. Meanwhile, the city of Paris carried on with its usual elegance as fans patiently waited outside various locations, hoping for another glimpse of the members. Among those newly surfaced clips, Taehyung once again attracted attention. His expression remained calm. He quietly acknowledged the people nearby before continuing with his schedule. Nothing in the footage clearly suggested concern, distress, or anything out of the ordinary. Nevertheless, because the internet had already connected every appearance that day into one larger narrative, every second involving Taehyung became another piece of an enormous puzzle that no one could fully solve. Soon, countless fan edits appeared online. Some combined Jungkook's earlier departure with Taehyung's later appearance, adding emotional background music and dramatic captions to strengthen the narrative. Others pushed back, encouraging fans to separate imagination from reality and to avoid creating stories that had no factual foundation. The contrast between those two perspectives became impossible to ignore. One side searched for hidden messages. The other searched for balance. Yet neither side could stop watching. As evening settled over Paris, another interesting observation quietly began circulating online. Several fans who had been present outside the hotel shared that the atmosphere had never felt chaotic in person. According to their accounts, security remained organized, staff members continued working normally, and the departures took place exactly as scheduled. That perspective added another important layer to the story. Sometimes a 10-second viral clip can feel far more dramatic than the actual event experienced by the people who were standing there. Even so, the emotional impact of seeing Jungkook walking with his head lowered continued to resonate with fans around the world. Not because anyone truly knew what he was thinking, but because people naturally empathize when they see someone they admire appearing unusually quiet. It reminded many fans that behind the performances, the awards, and the global success are real people who experience exhaustion, pressure, and private moments just like everyone else. Still, one question refused to disappear. If nothing unusual had happened, why did this single appearance become one of the most talked about moments of the entire Paris schedule? Perhaps the answer was never hidden in Jungkook's expression at all. Perhaps it was hidden in the moments before the cameras started rolling, a part of the story that no viral clip ever captured. And that unanswered question would soon spark an entirely new wave of discussion among armies around the world. As the conversations continued across social media, one truth became increasingly clear. Sometimes, the biggest stories are created not by facts, but by unanswered questions. A single expression, a brief moment of silence, a lowered gaze. For public figures like Jungkook and Taehyung, even the smallest gesture can spark millions of interpretations around the world. Yet throughout everything that happened in Paris, one fact never changed. Neither Jungkook nor Taehyung ever confirmed that anything unusual had taken place. No official statement suggested there had been a conflict. No verified source reported an unexpected incident. Everything that spread across the internet was built from short public appearances and the personal interpretations of millions of viewers. Perhaps that's what makes this story so fascinating. It isn't just about what people saw. It's about what people believe they saw. For longtime ARMYs, every smile, every glance, and every quiet moment carries emotional meaning because they've spent years following BTS's journey. That deep connection is what makes even an ordinary moment feel extraordinary. But it also serves as an important reminder. A few seconds captured on camera can never tell the complete story. Behind every performance, every airport appearance, and every public schedule is a human being experiencing exhaustion, pressure, responsibility, and emotions that the cameras may never reveal. Sometimes, silence doesn't hide a secret. Sometimes, silence is simply silence. As more footage from Paris continued to surface, the atmosphere appeared calm and professional. The members carried on with their schedules. Staff members remained composed. Security continued operating as planned. Nothing in the available footage provided clear evidence that anything unusual had occurred. Yet the mystery lived on, not because of confirmed facts, but because of the emotional connection fans share with the artists they admire. Perhaps that is the true reason this moment became unforgettable. Not because anyone discovered a hidden truth, but because millions of people cared enough to search for one. In the end, the story wasn't really about proving a theory. It became a reminder of how deeply BTS has connected with people around the world. Every appearance matters. Every smile is remembered. And every quiet moment invites compassion rather than assumptions. As Paris slowly returned to its usual rhythm, one simple clip continued to echo across the internet, reminding everyone that sometimes the moments that say the least become the ones that stay with us the longest. What do you think really happened that day? Was Jungkook simply exhausted after an incredibly demanding schedule? Or did fans unintentionally read too much into a brief moment that was never meant to tell a bigger story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest updates and unforgettable moments from BTS.